Some people, they used to tell us, no, that is the Church of Filipinos. They just want to make their things to you.
Church of Christ, they do not eat blood, they do not accept to marry too many wives.
Why are you going for the second baptism of the Church of Christ? Weren't you not baptized when you were young in the Church of Uganda?
What contains about the church from the Far East, specifically the Philippines, I had doubts before.
In Uganda, generally people know there is God, at least. I am happy for that.
And many people, if I'm to talk about their religious, it is true they are devoted, but based on human command.
My name is Enoch Liada. I work in a medical school. I'm one of the teachers computer lessons to our medical students.
My name is Musinguzi Jonah. I'm a student.
Margaret Vitoche. I'm making chapati, blanket.
My name is Caesar John from Kampala.
I'm Namlinda Doreen, 25 years old. Currently, I'm a florist.
Josephine Kabarwani Otema. I am a nurse professionally.
David Matovu, I stay in Wachisoma Tuga, Bombo in Kampala.
Deborah Chivuka, the Mutoro, Nindaga, Chenjojo, Nimbazire Charan.
I was born in a born-again region.
I pastor in the Pentecostal churches. I stayed there at 16 years.
I grew up in a family whereby we were Catholics. When I came into the city, I learned about the born-again faith. I joined the born-again faith. I was a senior pastor.
I
was born a Catholic. My family was Catholic.
I became an Anglican by birth, so I used to be one of the youth leaders back then, and we used to have meetings. We could gather our fellow youth.
I only grew with my grandmother, so she used to direct me to go to the church, which was the Protestant church.
My mother was a pastor and my father was a pastor. So I grew up in a born-again Christian family. It was called Arm of Light Christian Revival Church. I was playing piano and drums.
For me, before a religion, it wasn't that much of importance to me.
We mainly believe in the Trinity. We believe in the speaking of tongues, performing miracles. You can preach at least one verse.
Sharing activities of staying in overnights.
We believed in fasting. We believed that Jesus Christ is also God. We can eat anything that we want, even if something's dead or what, can eat. So I used to believe that it's true church.
My first encounter to the Church of Christ, I was invited by my fellow pastor. When he invited me, I reacted. I told him why we could go there because we are already pastors and we are senior pastors. He told me we need to learn more.
In 2018, Brother James Wawile in Bujiri, he introduced to me this church, someone telling him about the existence of the Church of Christ from Philippines. Then he got the connection with someone who took him to the Church of Christ. He told us the Church of Christ is the only true church I have found due to their explanation and their biblical teaching. Immediately, as soon as he told us about the Church of Christ, I was inspired and I had to go there and I pay a visit. I see what he is talking about. Does it really exist or it's not really? So I went there, I attended several times. So I accepted and later I started the Bible study.
One of my cousins, Namulina Dorin, she came and she told me, brother, you know what? We have a minister from the Church of Christ. He's coming this evening at 5:30, she said. So I'm inviting you so that you can also go and listen to the doctrine of the Church of Christ. I also told her that, okay, let me just think about it. I'm not promising, but I'm just going to think about it. So time came, she still convinced me, she still came back for me, and she took me there.
The first time they came to my village, my neighbor came to me and said, there is ministers who are going to come. That time, I had a lot of problems. I said, I would rather go and stay there. So I went to listen to Brother Angelo and Brother Danny.
I had one of the call of my friend. He tried to show me where the Church of Christ is at my Mavirizi complex.
The first person to introduce me to the Church of Christ was my father. He told us that the doctrine is quite different from the church, from our church. So he convinced us to go and check to see whether it's a true doctrine.
Naye nimvamu, there is a friend of mine, yeyandeta Church of Christ. Twaliko mukwano gwange yandeta mu Bible study.
Brother Najen, video mu Bible. Kabanza nasoma Bible study.
I was wondering what is he that is going to tell us that we don't know. But when I sat down in the Bible studies, I realized that indeed it's not as I think, because I knew that I know everything that pertains to the Bible. As I continued to attend the Bible studies, I realized I need to go beyond getting mere knowledge. I need to be part of this.
I was amused and I was like, how can a church like say that Jesus Christ is not a God? It can't be, it is not possible.
In Church of Christ, they preach about the Bible. They don't talk about themselves personally. A minister will come, read for you the Bible, and talk about what he has read in the Bible.
The minister was prepared and he started explaining to us. He told us that everything that I'm going to teach is from the Bible. I asked him about the Trinity, and to my surprise, he opened the Bible, then he started explaining to me why we shouldn't believe in Trinity.
Na Bible ingine, video mu Bible, tuzuriza Bible, soma Bible, tuzuriza Bible.
Church of Christ, they do not eat blood, they do not accept to marry too many wives.
Some people, they used to tell us, no, that is the Church of Filipinos.
Why are you going for the second baptism of the Church of Christ? Weren't you not baptized when you were young in the Church of Uganda?
What concerns about the church from the Far East, specifically the Philippines, I had doubts before.
The impression that I saw in the Church of Christ, they have that harmony, they love people, they treat each other like brothers, which was not in my former church.
What I noticed in the born-again phase is that some of the pastors, they are not really teaching what the Bible teaches. In the Church of Christ, I was very happy because the minister would give us an opportunity to ask questions, and he explained not by his understanding but using the Bible verses.
So when I started the Bible study, I discovered how the good and the importance of the Church of Christ. He told me we only believe in one God, whereby other churches and where we used to be, people say God is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And when we are doing baptism, they only immerse the water, they do like this. Whereby in the Church of Christ, they immerse you in the water fully to be cleansed and baptized.
in our former church, the Church of Uganda, we couldn't have that chance, that opportunity, maybe to ask the bishop or the pastor, what is this? So when you try like asking him the question, he will use his own explanation, not using the Bible, of course. But Church of Christ, the minister answered the questions using the Bible.
The first doctrine that taught to me, and I got to understand it very well, that Jesus Christ is also a man, it's not God. Though at first I was mad about that, but when the minister read the words from the Bible to us, I raised questions, but all the questions were answered by the scriptures. So I got to understand that really this is the true church. This is the thing that I was exactly telling God, that please show me the correct doctrines.
They would really read the Bible.
Their teaching is good than Catholic because they know Bible study. When you finish Bible study, that's when you baptize it. But in our Catholic, they baptize it when you are younger, you don't know what, but they baptize you. But in the Church of Christ, they ask you questions. When you finish Bible study, that's when they baptize you.
Ninyategeeza amakuru ga Bayibuli nabazuriza Bayibuli.
Different beliefs will all belong to God. Well, today we'll continue our study.
My turning point to join the Church of Christ is when I realized that it is the true church which has the true doctrine of Almighty God.
My turning point in joining this church, after the Bible study, I took another like 6 months, still thinking about it. I went back to my father, told him what I feel. My father told me, my daughter, you are old now. I cannot decide for you. But if you feel this church is going to give you the peace, then I came back, told Brother Angelo, Brother Angelo, you know, if there is another group that is going to be baptized, please let me be baptized. Then he told me, can you go back to the Bible study? I said, no, I will attend it again.
My turning point in joining the church was when the ministers could preach the Bible very well.
My major turning point was we only believed in one God, not any other God. We have only one God, God the Father in heaven. Because other churches, they were telling us God is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, which is not true. I was convinced to join the Church of Christ because it inspired me a lot compared to the previous churches.
My turning point in joining the Church of Christ, it was finally about the baptism, because it came a time the minister told us that we need to be baptized again, that will lead us to salvation.
Ekinakiriza tsategi ntsatsi ya Kristo niyo tsateshtirire.
When I joined the church, people were not good at us as a family, so they said, those people changed. They changed from born again and they went to another religion. That religion is not of Christ, so you people will not saved at the door of the judgment. So people were not good. Their impressions were not good about us.
So they were saying, what kind of person are you? They started looking at me as somebody who has failed in life. I told them, I am an adult. I know what I'm doing. But I continued praying to it. I said, God, just show me good direction. If this is the church that takes me to the holy city, I have suffered enough in this world. I want to come to you and I rest. Give me the courage. Give me the knowledge of knowing you more so that I should remain in this church.
When I fully made up my mind and I made a decision to join the Church of Christ, I had members with me in my church. Some of the council of the pastors wrote a letter to each and every church, telling each and every church that no one should welcome me or invite me because I've joined what they called cult. It wasn't easy to go through, but I went and talked to the minister, but the minister reminded me what he taught us through the Bible studies. How could the Church of Christ member withstand the persecutions? It reminded me that I stood my ground. I kept on attending the worship service.
saate gye bagenda kuddayo waabo nanye nimbagamba nja kuddayo nabo sijja kuvaamu musaati abo bebeegesa by'omu Bayibuli.
When I joined the Church of Christ, nobody was against me. In fact, my family were happy with me. My father, my brothers, everybody was happy with me. And nobody has ever hated me because of the Church of Christ.
My family and friends and close relatives, they first stayed behind. So they started still questioning me about the Trinity. Then I told them, concerning the Trinity, please come with me the next morning. We have a Bible study. The minister is going to come. Can you please just come with me so that you can attend the Bible study? Luckily enough, they accepted. After the Bible study, we went home and I asked them, oh, how was the experience? How did you feel when you joined us for the Bible study today? Were your questions answered? How is the Bible study? Tell me, how was it? They were so happy. We are going to continue coming for those Bible studies until they finish our lessons.
Ba family bayumba lwakinzija mu Church of Christ ngamva mu Catholic. Ninganze mwenyine decided myself to go to the Church of Christ. Ukuba nhondozero obusinge kusinga ki church ezindi.
Despite of all this persecutions from the people, for us to remain firm because we knew and we understood what we are being taught to us in the Church of Christ.
I studied the Bible very well. I got baptized. So that's when I started talking to them, convincing them. I told them, you know what? I think you guys are missing something here. This is the one true church, the one Christ will save come the day of judgment.
One thing that kept on motivating me and leading me to stand my ground, continuing attending the worship service, I wanted to go in the whole city to reach the eternity, to reach that which is promised to us by God the Father in heaven.
He inspired me to join due to the things he explained to me. The Church of Christ is the only church which believes in only one God. That's the thing which inspired me most to join the Church of Christ rather than other churches.
That this church is the true church. This is a real church to stay in.
I was baptized in 2017.
I was baptized in December 30th, 2022.
September 2018.
November 2022.
January 2019.
I was baptized in August 17th.
27 February 2021.
The day I was baptized, I was so happy because I truly came to believe that I didn't have that before, the one true baptism and in the Church of Christ.
I'm so happy that now we talk to our God and we know that the true God is God the Father. Now, I'm now a member, a full member of Church of Christ.
I very excitement. I very much happy.
That day is still memorable for me, up to date. Because when I was baptized, I knew that now I am fully a member of the Church of Christ, and now I have joined that body that will truly be saved come Judgment Day.
When I was baptized, when I was entering in the water, I felt I am putting on another dress. I'll put on this dress for the rest of my life. I felt something new in me, and that is the new me who is still me today.
When I got baptized, it was my first time to be immersed down in the water. They put the whole body in the water so that you can be fully baptized. And I was so happy.
When I became a member of the Church of Christ, before then, I used to believe in speaking tongues. But when I joined the Church of Christ, I realized that somebody should pray what he understands. That is one of the changes in my life.
Before I was very young, I couldn't understand where to go, where to pray from. I cannot decide.
I became more active in the church activities.
My life changed because in the church we are taught that we should not use alcohols, we should not use drugs. So my life has changed because I'm striving to live in holiness.
The changes in my life, now I don't have stress. I have more opportunities. I have been so open to my children that I have told them everything that has been happening to my life, which I did not do, which I have learned from the church. And I'm so thankful.
Ebintu byatambula bulungi kusaidia ebyenjiri naye kusaawa ya leero kati ebintu bitambula bulungi kusaidia enjiri n'ebirala ate nga n'ebirala byonna bitambula ebyo bikwatagana n'ebyesaidi y'omubiri nabyo bitambula byonna bigenda byolekanye ku saidi ya Church of Christ byonna bitambula bulungi kusinga eri gye nali mu Church of Pentecost mu church zino za Pentecost ze nasookeramu.
After joining the Church of Christ, I've not found any difficulty in this church because due to the teachings I listen, they make me strong. Because they always tell us, they teach us in the service, which gives us strength and hope for the future. So once I get a certain problem, I cannot go ahead, I have to remember what I studied and I become strong. Whatever problems you have, just believe in God.
The church has changed so many people's lives. Like the church cares for people who are in need. The church provides to them, also helps people to grow spiritually.
Nintunga kusemererwa mu church nimanya ekibi nimanya.
Indeed, right now, I'm truly happy being a member of the Church of Christ because I believe I'm in a safe place. I believe I'm in a true church, true religion, the one Christ will save come the day of judgment.
I am so thankful to Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, for he does never get tired of sending ministers here for our worship service. That worship services, whenever I attend it, it changes my life more and it leads him to become more devoted.
Thank you, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, for the ministers you've sent to us, for the brothers, for everything you've sent to us through the ministers, the administration. We really appreciate because they are doing a very good job. They are really changing our lives.
I thank him so much for sending us ministers. And God is with this church. Even when they come to the village, the first people they encounter are people who also understand God, because they have always tried to bring us together. Though they are not from Filipino, like Brother Kenny, he has tried to bring us together and worked with people together. So I really thank him. They should be there because they are so helpful. They are the only people who can make us know God and know what he can do and know how to stay with him.
We thank them for the love they always give us here, and most importantly, we thank them because they are always caring for us in our spiritual needs. Because without them, we believe that we would be truly lost. But just because the Church of Christ came here, we are in the light, we do things according to what God commands us to do, and we truly believe that come the day of judgment, Christ will come for us and we will be saved.
Eri bannayuganda bannange,
My fellow students, my fellow youth,
My family members, those who are not yet in the Church of Christ, even those who are close to us.
I want to invite all my Ugandans.
I invite everybody here in Uganda.
Listen to Bible studies. Feel free to always ask us so that you can also start the process of joining the one true Church of Christ, the Church Christ will save come the day of judgment.
toyina kyofiirwa buli lwewaayo okumanya amazima gakuyambeko okulokola obulamu bwo. Kuba mu kanisa ya Kristo tukkirizanga mwe tugenda okufunira obulokozi.
Only true church, which is the Church of Christ, is the only true church here which believes in only one God.
It teaches about the true God, it has a true doctrines. So I invite you all to come and join us in the Church of Christ, because it is the only hope for us to be saved come Judgment Day.
Come and join the Church of Christ.
Abantu b'omuka nimbaniriza mu Church of Christ.
All the Ugandans, welcome to the Church of Christ.